right, guys. Welcome back to the SBG Podcast, and today we have our special guest, Andrea from the College of Business, and who is graduating really soon. So, Andrea, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right. Hello. Thank you for having me on your podcast. I'm in my final semester at Cal Poly Pomona. I am a third year international business major, emphasis in marketing. After I graduate, I plan on working at Cisco as a business analyst in San Jose. And I'll be working like a hybrid role. So it'll be like half in person, half at home. So a little bit about me.
Well, that's really nice. So let's talk about when you just started in college. So, why did you choose international business?
So I chose international business because I've always enjoyed traveling and I've always enjoyed um, learning about new cultures and traveling internationally. I've been to a few countries outside of the US, like Japan, Ecuador, Costa Rica, a few countries in Europe. I'm very um, I'm very grateful to have had those experiences. And so as a result, I feel like I have developed like an interest in learning about countries abroad. And then on top of that, I've always kind of had like a passion for uh, visual communication, I guess, like being artsy and creative. So I thought, okay, international business marketing, that's kind of like a good combo of the two. And yeah, that's kind of what led me here to choose international business.
Well, that's really cool because I travel a lot too, and I love seeing different people and different cultures. So, for you, when you travel to different countries, what was your like first thoughts, or like what do you learn from traveling to a lot of countries?
You definitely learn a lot. You learn about how people outside the US live so differently than us. I think it's like so easy to just kind of get in your own bubble and think that, a lot of things that we see normal are not normal in other countries and vice versa. A lot of things that, in other countries that seem normal, we kind of see it as like, oh, that's a little strange or that's not something kind of unusual. So you kind of just learn how to like keep like a really open mind and to just kind of accept every culture like as it is and to just kind of appreciate like the little things that are different about everyone in every country.
Well, that's really cool. And so, for you, since you travel to a lot of countries, what countries impress you the most?
I think by far the country that has impressed me the most was probably going to be Japan. It's like a completely different world over there. It's so like advanced and everyone is so like united. I feel like in the US, everyone is like a little bit more individualistic. Whereas in Japan, it's like more community oriented and you can really tell that people like look out for each other, even like complete strangers. You can see like really go out of their way to like help and be kind to like, the people around them, even if they don't know them. And they're also like super clean and yeah, just a really like completely different atmosphere than what you see here in the US. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I've been to Japan myself years ago, and
Uh-huh.
it literally changed my life. The food was great. People are
Mhm.
so nice, and it's really interesting how people lives over there. It's so
Mhm.
different than people over here. So I thought it was very interesting that you brought up that. So let's dive into some of the experience that you had during your college. So currently you're an intern at the Poly Post. So can
Mhm.
you talk a little bit about your career so far?
Yeah, so right now I am an account executive at the Poly Post. So I basically do like account management. I'm in charge of finding clients and kind of maintaining client relations for people that want to like book or showcase any of their advertisements on our publications. Like we just got finished selling for our Bronco Guide magazine. So we got a lot of traction from that. So basically, it's a lot of sales, it's a lot of marketing. and yeah, I've been doing it since August, and so far I think it's been a really great experience. It teaches you a lot about sales and account management. I think I kind of, before this role, I had a very different view about what sales was, but now I think at the end of this role, now that the semester is like ending, I kind of have a different view of it. It's definitely more, I think people see sales as like, the aggressive salesperson that's trying to like get you to buy something, but it's actually kind of the opposite. I think sales is more just like keeping in contact with your clients and just being like a resource, being more like a consultant rather than someone there to just like get your money. Um, but yeah, I've learned a lot from my experience at the Poly Post so far. Yep.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk about sales a little bit before we dive into a little deeper. So, as you say, I totally agree with what you said because me as myself, I work in some of the firm that we
Mhm.
actually do sales, and for example, if someone who come up to you, you're since you work in sales, so someone's like, hey, I'm not a natural salesperson. Do you think would it works for me, like, a sales job or something? Does it work for me if I'm not a natural salesperson?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think a lot of people kind of go into it thinking that like you have to be super outgoing and really like assertive and all that. But I think that what really matters is that you are persistent and that you are resilient, because with sales you're going to have a lot of rejections, like, and you're going to have a lot of people going to you about complaints or just like trying to like shoo you away, and it's really easy to get burnt out because of that when you're kind of getting constant rejection, especially like with cold calling. So it takes someone that is like just really persistent and really resilient, and like someone who's like not who like won't give up. I think that's kind of like, those are like the two, I think, attributes that will make someone successful as a salesperson. So you don't necessarily have to be like super outgoing or super like anything like that. And then also being just like personable, like being able to just connect with your clients and on a personal level, and just um, be supportive. I think that's what is the most important.
Yeah, well, that was a very complete answer from you, and so let's dive into a little bit about incoming freshmen. So I know there will be a lot of incoming freshmen are gonna be watching this type of podcast, and
Hmm.
so for you, what do incoming freshmen expect from day one at Cal Poly Pomona?
So I think freshmen should expect that Cal Poly Pomona, um, just to be honest, is a commuter campus. So it is going to be a little bit of a different experience than other universities. I know like other universities you see, there's like a very like lively and thriving college life and like spirit. I think Cal Poly Pomona, you definitely have to like make the effort to put yourself out there, to like make friends and like to get involved and to like find opportunities. um, I think once you kind of like get your foot out of the door and you just like join some clubs, organizations that interest you, it's going to make your Cal Poly Pomona experience like 10 times better. I remember when I was like a freshman, I got involved in a lot of like organizations like Delta Sigma Pi, which is like a professional business fraternity for business students. And then I like got involved in like other clubs like Hermanas Unidas, which is like it's like a club for Latino women, and they just kind of have like socials and all that, like just getting involved, and so you can meet people, make friends, and just keep yourself busy. And then you can also, um, find leadership roles in those clubs, and then you learn a lot and you can put on your resume. So yeah, that's my biggest advice, just to like get involved as soon as you get to CPP.
Yeah, well, that's really cool because I actually have a couple friends who is from Delta Sigma Pi.
Mhm.
And so since I heard that you're, like an executive vice president. So can you tell us a little bit about the fraternity?
Yeah, so Delta Sigma Pi is a professional business fraternity. So it's co-ed, so it's going to be like boys and girls, all of like business majors, hospitality majors, like fashion and apparel management majors, as well as economic majors. Um, so I think it's a really great opportunity because it's a little bit different from like the social fraternities and sororities that are more focused on like building your social life, whereas DSP will help you build your resume. We have like a bunch of community service events, like professional events, like we'll have speakers come out from like various companies. We also have like leadership conferences where like a bunch of DSP chapters will come and they'll be able to like network and go through like workshops. And then we also do have social events as well to kind of like cultivate brotherhood within the chapter. Um, so yeah, I think I definitely owe a lot of my success and I guess the opportunities that I've been given, you know, through internships and jobs through my experience from Delta Sigma Pi. I was a senior vice president back during COVID for I think it was spring 2021, I believe, and that's when I had to like execute an online recruitment for like the first like it was had never been like never happened before COVID. So I got a lot of experience from Delta Sigma Pi. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's really cool, and I really, you know what? It's kind of funny how now I'm thinking about it. 2019 was 3 years ago. That was
Yeah.
it was so crazy, and now I'm thinking about 2021. It's probably like close by, but no, that was a year ago. So
Yeah.
2021 was a year ago,
Yeah.
and I was like, man, time went by so fast, and people are
It
graduating.
did. It did. Especially yeah, like with the pandemic, like it feels like that year was just kind of like didn't even count. Like I feel like it was like a
Yeah.
gap in your life almost.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
I still remember when I was a freshman, which I think you're the same grade as me. So
Mhm.
when we were a freshman, and then boom, COVID, and then now we're like, you're graduating, I'm going to be a senior, and it's so crazy. Do you think
Mhm.
so?
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. Cause like literally I was in like I started my freshman year August. We got booted out like in March and then like lived at home for a whole year. And then now I'm back and then I'm like now graduating. So it feels kind of like, oh my God, like my college years were like cut so short.
Time went by so
Yeah,
fast, like I
it
blink
did.
and we're graduating. Okay, so let's go into well, let's talk about COVID a little bit because I
Uh,
think the situation was kind of, I don't like COVID. I hate it. But now,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel a little better, and people, I see start seeing people like not wearing a mask anymore, and
Uh,
I actually feel better like walking around, like it's going back to normal. So
yeah. Yeah.
my question for you is, how can you keep yourself motivated during COVID and still able to graduate early?
That's a great question. I think for me, what kept me motivated, was honestly probably like the lack of distraction. I was just living at home and I like, obviously, I was just with my family. So I had a lot of free time. So, in my head, I was just thinking like, oh, might as well just like make the best out of the worst. So that's when I decided to run for like senior vice president for my business fraternity because I was like, you know what, like I think this is a good opportunity to, hold like a higher position in DSP and then also learn how to kind of like conduct like the business fraternity operations like on a completely like 100% online platform and then also executing like recruitment. That was like a lot of, there's a lot of planning and there's a lot of there's a lot of brainstorming like from the executive team and having to create like marketing material for the recruitment because like we couldn't do any tabling in person. When you're doing recruitment, you have your tabling, you're able to like hand out flyers, you're able to like give little presentations in class like at the end of class, but we didn't have that. So we kind of just resorted to like having virtual tablings and sending a lot of emails out for our recruitment. So just I think for me, what kept me motivated was just like knowing that, um, I was just like, in terms of recruitment, we were trying to like find new people to join the chapter. And I was just, I guess like in my head, I was thinking like, oh, there has to be like a bunch, a whole handful of people out there just sitting at home thinking like, oh, what can I do like in my free time? Like I want to like do something. I want to like build my resume. I want to like get some experience. and so recruitment, we were trying to like find those people, and it was definitely like a really rewarding experience that I was like able to talk about a lot in like interviews and all that. So
Wow.
yeah.
No, I'm sure, COVID situation makes everything tougher, even for the fraternities around campus too, it was hard, even clubs, you cannot
Yeah.
meet in person.
Yeah.
And to me, the biggest, the fastest, or the most important thing in to build your career is to network. And
Mhm.
and COVID kind of take that away from us.
Mhm.
And I think, it's hard. It was surely really hard.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so my next question for you is, what was the biggest lesson you learned in your college career so far?
The biggest lesson that I learned, um, I think the biggest lesson I learned in college was that everyone's path is going to look different, and to just kind of focus on what is best for you. So for example, like if your friend is taking like 5, 6, 7 classes in a semester, but you're taking like 4 or 5 or like 3, you shouldn't like compare yourself, and just kind of focus on your goals and your own ambitions and what you want to do and your passions. Cause I know it's really easy to kind of see, like it's easy to just like go on LinkedIn and see all these people posting that they got, these really like glamorous jobs, and you can start to feel a little bit bad about yourself. I know that's happened to me a few times on LinkedIn, and it's important to just kind of like, you know uh be like level headed and to just focus on, your goals and what you want to do, um and what kind of drives you and like your purpose, and just kind of like, you don't have to worry, like don't worry so much about what everyone else is doing, and just focus on what you want to do.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
that was a really good, very complete answer that you just did. And well, my next question for you is, what was the biggest mistake you think you made in college career? And if you could go back in time, would you change it, or would you treat it as like a lesson?
Okay, so a lesson that I like, something that I like, kind of like
Like
a time I
what?
overcame adversity, or like a
So,
challenge.
oh, okay. Let me rephrase the question. Okay, so example, like, what was the biggest mistake you make, like,
Mhm.
while you're in college, and then,
Oh,
like, would you go back in time and change the fact that you make the mistake, or would you learn from it?
okay. Yeah, I've definitely made like more than a handful of mistakes in college. I think everyone has.
Yeah.
Um, but I guess just like knowing, like, I guess it's just, when it comes down to it, it's just being like resilient. Like, you're gonna fail a test, you're gonna, maybe not turn in an important assignment on time, you're gonna forget about it, something like that. Like, so I think it's just important to be resilient and to be able to like bounce back whenever you kind of have those like setbacks, because at the end of the day, you learn more. I think, in my opinion, you kind of learn a little bit more from the bad experiences than you do from the good experiences, if that makes sense. Like, those experiences, like, they teach you to like do better next time. So I think I think it really comes down to just having like a positive growth mindset, and and just being able to like get, pick yourself back up and just keep trudging, and yeah, just, don't let the failures like keep you from
Yeah.
achieving your goals and stuff. But then also don't beat yourself up if like, something happens and you don't, I don't know, you like miss a deadline, or you like forget to go to some important meeting. Like, don't beat yourself too much about it. Like, we're all human and we all make mistakes. So
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, Andrea, it was a pleasure, to have you here. But before we go, I have one more questions to wrap this
okay.
up. Is
Uh-huh.
how do you go through tough times?
How do I go through tough times? So for me, I guess when I go through tough times, I think it's important to talk about it with like your loved ones, or like anyone that you kind of like trust or like feel comfortable talking about it with, because you can always get like good advice or like reassurance. It always helps to just like talk it out and vent it out. And then just kind of like reassess, okay, like now that it's like all out, like all your feelings when you feel like, oh, like I messed up, like I'm a failure, whatever. Then you can kind of like sit back and be like, okay, what are we gonna do to like fix this? What are we gonna do better next time, or what are we gonna do from now on? I think it definitely helps have like a good support around you, whether it be friends or family or teachers or really anyone that's just like there for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the session for today. And before we go, like, do you have any advice for the incoming Kapala students?
Um, just I don't know, have fun, have a good time, work hard. Um, again, don't worry too much if you make mistakes in your freshman year. It's normal. Put yourself out there and just have a good time.
Awesome. Awesome,
Yes,
Andrea. Thank you again, and we really appreciate your time. Also, congratulations on your graduation, upcoming graduation. You're
thank
doing
you.
great, and well, you're graduating in 3 years, so that's something. That's awesome. And
Thank you.
on behalf of the rest of my group, we really appreciate you, and we hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. And congratulations again, Andrea.
Thank you, Lawrence, for having me on the podcast. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
All right, I'll see you
All
guys.
right. Bye.